We did get a similar view in Flight 3, but again, the vehicle did lose a little bit of its control, attitude control, and this is a very stable view. This is great. This is exactly what we want, and we are hearing that we're getting expected call-outs.
Absolutely.
Starship is seeing half a G of acceleration, remains on a good entry trajectory.
You know, it's incredible to look at this photo and wonder, wait, is it real? Is it frozen? You know, we can see so I was just going to say
Those temperatures have stopped increasing.
Oh, that is great news. The temperature is no longer building. But I was saying, like, we have a little bit of indication there. We can see that streaking occurring. That occurs.
So this is a view of the Starship Flight Test 4. This is its re-entry phase. You can see the speed decreasing and the altitude 68 kilometers above sea level.
And
you
I
can see no engines are lit.
That we are getting a live
51, nearly 52 minutes into flight.
Right now, live on your screen. Again, we've said this over and over, but all thanks to Starlink. We are able to use Starlink in space, which we're getting this incredible data. And not only just the data from the sensors, but getting live imagery of what is actually happening, which is great, which we've never been able to do live before.
Right. Now, just a quick future outlook here. So in about, let's see, at T plus about 1 hour and 2 minutes, we should hear a call out for entry transonic. That means that the ship is going near the speed of sound. And then about a minute after that, we'll hear another call out saying entry subsonic, meaning that the ship is going below the speed of sound. So these are all continued indications that the atmosphere, right, as the ship comes back down, it is getting through the more dense part of the atmosphere, and that atmosphere is helping to push against the vehicle, and those heat shields are protecting the vehicle during this high heat period.
Yeah, Kate and Jesse, we're starting to see as the atmosphere gets denser, you're starting to see a few more particles make an appearance in the plasma there. You can see, you're looking down at the aft end of the ship in the top left, and you're seeing essentially the flame build up as we go through re-entry. You've been hearing the call-outs, they're tracking things like temperatures in the nose cone, and those...
It's wild that we get to see this live.
We modeled them to be, which is really cool to see, and to see in real time. But we're coming up, we're at about 67 kilometers in altitude.
I mean, this is a flight test.
With the ship on Flight 3 was
look at the confidence of SpaceX.
So we should be making it past that point shortly. Obviously, as you guys pointed out, we're in a much better control this time as we re-entered in the right attitude, and our flaps have been steering the way so far. Once we get through transonic, that's when you've got essentially
Raptor landing bird.
Different areas around the vehicle.
There's about 3 million people just watching just this one feed from SpaceX directly.
Subsonic, which we have some experience with. We
and
did
there are a whole lot more people probably watching other channels.
Get down
Look
to
at that,
its
isn't that
terminal
beautiful?
velocity as it's floating down to the water. That's just about 200 miles an hour or so. We are hearing that we're starting to chill some of the engines as we are, if we make it all the way down to the water, still going to attempt a landing burn, but still a ways to go. We're at about 64 kilometers in altitude right now. We made it through what's expected to be the peak heating, but now we're going to start encountering increased pressures as the atmosphere gets thicker and thicker. So we're at 63 kilometers, so we've already made it farther than we did on our last flight when that last signal was coming at 65 kilometers.
Beautiful. Look at that.
So again, what we're really looking at here is the performance of the heat shield, of the flaps, of the seals of the flaps. There's just a whole
you still
bunch of
have to
different
try
areas
to
that we're
comprehend the size of this
keeping a really close eye on as we
machine,
re-enter.
of this vehicle. It's absolutely massive.
Starship remains on a good entry trajectory.
And looking like we're still on a good trajectory. If you're seeing little camera
60
moves,
kilometers
that's
now
the
above
flap moving as it continues to maintain
sea level. Speed still
the
dropping.
Of the vehicle as it re-enters. And I mean, not just camera views, but we've got sensors inside the ship. We've got those sensors down at the very aft end of the vehicle, where we pointed out we had some intentionally missing tiles, where we've got some sensors looking at just how hot it's getting around there. We intentionally put those in essentially the least critical part of the heat shield, where if you had any kind of a breach, it wouldn't be great for reusability, but wouldn't be critical for actual making it through the re-entry into the landing. "58 kilometers, we're continuing to descend. Again, right now we are over the Indian Ocean. We're actually getting closer and closer to that expected splashdown point, which is just to the off the northwest corner of Australia. If you keep an eye on our speed, the speed is dropping. We're hitting the thicker part of the atmosphere now. The speed's going to start dropping precipitously. We're going to start getting to transonic pretty soon, and then after that we'll get into subsonic, where we're moving less than the speed of sound. But wow, what a light show so far!
Yeah, exactly. Gorgeous views. Gorgeous views.
External temperatures are starting to come down.
Again, this camera view is looking right at one of the forward flaps.
The forward flaps. So that's near the nose.
And we're strategically putting some cameras around the vehicle to just look at the different areas.
You see some
the flaps starting to come apart a little.
Yeah, some of the tiles come away there.
Yeah, it does appear that we have a little bit of burn through there. We can see pieces of the vehicle flying off. What a show it has been. It's been like watching Interstellar or something.
This is wild to see this, but the ship is still coming down, which is incredible to see.
How far can it go? That is the question.
Keep your eye on the altitude in the bottom right-hand corner. We're at 54 kilometers right now.
And this is the data. This is the data that
is the
they
payload
need.
today. We've
Like
been
they
saying
said,
it
the data is the
multiple
payload.
times. Our teams are sitting, reviewing this data live, learning where the hot spots are. As you can see, there's an obvious hot spot there with the flap, and learning how we can improve this design. The goal was to get as far through this high heat re-entry as possible.
Yeah.
Ideally, we'd love to make it all the way down and perform that landing burn and flip maneuver, but we may not get that far today. We will see.
Again, this is a test, and we are gathering as much data as possible, visual data as well, which we can see here. We are getting a lot of debris covering the camera on your screen, but we can still see some of those sparks and flames from that high heat as ship is making its way back down to Earth.
Ship now at 50 kilometers and closing. The good news is we still got, looks like that camera lens just cracked. It's safe to say ship's getting a little beat up, but that's to be expected on a test flight. We are still learning how to improve the ship for total survival and recovery of the high heat re-entry.
I'm honestly impressed that we're still getting this live view despite how much debris is coming off of this flap right now.
The fact that we've got it is good news. And I may have jinxed it. I apologize. Look at that, it's back.
We are still going.
And the teams here at SpaceX are excited, as you can tell by the cheering behind us. There's still a sizable crowd here at Mission Control Center Hawthorne.
A splashdown is expected in just about 4 minutes from now.
Hmm.
And we're still moving. We still have live views. Starlink is
Vehicle
doing
is
an incredible
approaching
job.
maximum entry dynamic pressure. External temperatures are dropping.
Okay, good news. Those external pressures are dropping. The question is, how much of the ship is left? We can't really tell. We can still see
Yeah, it's slowed
some
quite
of
a
that
bit now.
particulate coming off. And unfortunately, we do have a cracked camera lens, but for any photographers out there and videographers, we know that's part of the gig sometimes.
Yeah, and you can see that the speed is rapidly slowing down. That's actually really great news for us. We want the vehicle to be slowing down before it splashes down into the ocean. That'll help set us up for that flip maneuver, engines first, down into the water.
Exactly. So we have seen this flip maneuver demonstrated on previous high altitude flight tests like serial number 8. Oh, more views. Or excuse, I should say more light coming through the view that we have through that cracked and dirtied lens there. But yeah, so we're hoping that this flip maneuver, that we can pull it off as soon as we get those views back. If we can get them, if the ship is still around, we will bring it back to you.
Vehicle has passed maximum dynamic pressure.
That is great news. Maximum dynamic pressure being the moment in which the vehicle experiences the greatest amount of aerodynamic pressure.
So that just happened.
Speed still dropping. We're now at 37 kilometers above the ocean. Just like Flight 3, we are targeting a splashdown in the water in the Indian Ocean.
And we don't have a live view right now, but because we're still getting data and telemetry, that does tell us that ship is still doing okay, at least. And there we got that live view back. The crowd very excited to see that view, despite not being able to see very much.
The fact that it's there tells us the ship is still alive.
Yes, and collecting data, continuing to collect data as we get closer and closer to Earth.
Yes, now 30 kilometers, now 29 above the
Starship
Indian
is
Ocean.
at 30 kilometers altitude, Mach 2.
Yeah.
Sounds like the vehicle's traveling, as we just heard, Mach 2, which is
over 2,000 kilometers per hour.
looks like we might. I thought maybe it might clear up. It is a little bit now at T+1 hour, 3 minutes and 13 seconds into Starship Flight 4. Hoping that the ship can hang on. It's probably potentially hanging on by a couple of bolts and threads, but it's still going, and that is excellent news.
That deceleration is looking incredible. We're about to go under 1,000 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
Starship is at 20 kilometers altitude.
Now keep in mind that even though we can't see anything, the data itself is what we really are.
Starship is subsonic.
Subsonic, they're telling us it's traveling below the speed of sound.
So, if you look at the angle...
That movement means the flaps are actuating. I think we can see something. This is a nail biter. But we are, unfortunately, we can't see through the lens, but we're still getting the feed. Starship is now 11 kilometers over the ocean. All this data is incredibly important. Even if, it breaks up right now. Okay, we can see that
it's actually actuating, even after all the damage incurred.
Starship is passing through 10 kilometers altitude.
Okay, the next milestone will be initiation of the flip maneuver and landing burn. Keep an eye on the bottom right corner of your screen for those 3 center engines to relight. They will gimbal or angle so that the ship flips itself back up vertical and hopefully lands in a vertical position.
And the crowd is very excited to get this view of that flap still maneuvering.
Starship is passing through 5 kilometers altitude.
Yeah. So...
This is incredible. Getting very close to splashdown.
These fireflies are such a good sign of life right now. We wish we could see more, but we'll take it.
Okay, you'll have to flip now. Huh?
Starship is at 2 kilometers altitude, terminal velocity.
Terminal velocity.
Landing beam startup for Starship.
All right, good news there.
Wow, look at that. Flip maneuver.
Attention, the Starship.
Landing burn startup.
Starship is in landing burn.
Landing burn shutdown.
The landing burn shutdown was commanded. Wow. I mean, it was a little bit of use your imagination as you were going down with what we could actually see, but we were able to hear the ship did its landing burn. It sounded
Starship
like we might have got
shutdown.
2 engines. And there's the final call for landing burn shutdown, but we'll go back through all the data, but we did get confirmation that a landing burn took place. Starship made it through re-entry and did its first ever landing burn. From South Texas to the other side of the earth, Starship is in the water.
Everybody's stoked.
What a day. What a day, guys. Yeah. That was absolutely incredible. We we got views pretty much the whole way down. Analysis said it could do it. We weren't sure if it was going to be able to happen, but Starlink powered through, and we were able to get signal. We started to get some debris on the cameras and everything, but we were able to see it. So, I mean, what a day. Just recapping, everything started off today. We lifted off from here in Starbase just about an hour ago. It feels like a lifetime. Successful super heavy ascent, boost back, and its own splashdown in the Gulf. Ship made it to space, kept its attitude. Successful re-entry through peak heating. We got to see it under flap control through the atmosphere, and we got call out of our first ever ship landing burn after a launch into space. So just really incredible. So I'm going to take some time to collect myself, but wow, that was incredible. I can't wait for the next one. Over to you guys.
It was so loud here. I haven't heard the crowd get that loud probably since liftoff of Flight 1, honestly.
Yeah,
That was incredible.
Amazing.
Congratulations to our teammates, to everyone who supported the Starship program. Thanks to all of our future customers for your support. And we'd also like to thank the people of Cameron County, Texas, as well as the Coast Guard, the Federal Aviation Administration, and the government of Mexico. And since Starship got a little bit toasty from that extreme heat of reentry, and we've got our very own Starship right here, let's have a toast of our own.
I've been waiting all morning for this.
Okay, may I?
Light me up. Yeah. Just like Starship,
Marshmallows.
I like this toasty.
I'm keeping this.
Now, we've got more
Stunning.
Starship test flights coming to you soon. Be sure to follow the SpaceX account on X for more updates from today's test flight and future Starship tests. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Nice one. So that's pretty incredible. I mean, okay, what would I say to future me right now? To anyone who ever saw this, if they did? I'd say, wow. I'd say, we just witnessed something spectacular. You know, how long has it been that mankind can look up at the starry night sky and just look? But now, you can go there. That's pretty cool. You could end up going there one day. Well done, SpaceX. Well done, team. Thank you. What you've achieved here today and what you're achieving with every single day that you push and push and push the Starship program. Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. Let's wait for Flight Test 5. Next iteration. On a day when thousands, probably millions of human beings and who knows what will launch from this egg that we call Mother Earth to who knows what incredible future. Wow. I'm going to sign off there and see you for the next test flight. Ciao.